We know we need to build a network to build a business. We can see that most successful business people are usually the ones that are constantly connecting and they're expanding their networks. That's not a secret. A strong network is going to give you a constant flow of ideas. It's going to give you opportunities to collaborate and it's going to give you support, right? But dang if we don't dislike actually getting out there and networking. And for the lucky few, and you know these people, the networking comes naturally, right? They thrive on getting to know people. They are just amazing at nurturing relationships, and they seem to be that person that knows everybody. And then there's the rest of us. It just does not come so easily for. So almost half of the population is believed to be introverted, or for those of us that identify with those characteristics, networking is a really painful activity. It's right up there somewhere between a root canal and an upset stomach, depending on the crowd. So for those of us that aren't naturally the life of the party, I have 7 tips that will help you feel more comfortable and make the most of your time at the in-person and the online networking opportunities. So number 1 tip to making the most of your time is to decide on your purpose. And we so rarely do this. The very first step in networking is deciding on what you're trying to gain from your network. So is it more customers? Are you looking for advisors? Are you looking for new contracts? What are you trying to do? You need to decide that before you book any of your networking activities, because the purpose of your network is going to determine what type of contacts you're looking for and where you're going to go to find them. All right. So sit down and think about, okay, what am I trying to get out of my network? What do I need? What do I need from these people? What is your purpose? Number 2 is to make a plan for the event. So once you've decided that you're going to attend and what event you're going to attend, then you need to make a plan. So often our first mistake is just showing up, right? We don't have any idea what we're going to do. We're just doing this thing. We need to do some networking. We're going to show up. Don't do that. Decide before you go, why are you there and what do you want to accomplish before you leave? It's like a goal for the event, right? And then you have some kind of direction while you're there, and it's going to be much more effective. Number 3, and this really helps you feel more comfortable. If you don't like going into unfamiliar situations, get some advance information. So ask around, find out what events your friends or your peers or your colleagues have attended. What did they think? How did it go? What was the venue like? How did it run? Right? The more intel that you have ahead of time, the more comfortable and effective you're going to be at the event. So find out ahead of time whatever you can about the event so you know going in, A, it's going to make you more comfortable, and B, again, it's going to make you more effective. Number 4, and again, this goes to making you feel more comfortable. Remember that it's not just you. A lot of people are uncomfortable at networking events, and it's reassuring to know that it's not just you. Probably about half of the people in the room feel exactly the way that you do, right? And they're there too. So you're not alone. A lot of people are very uncomfortable in those situations. Number 5 is be prepared. And this one makes me laugh every time because I have broken this rule so many times. Take your business cards, carry a pen, have your elevator pitch prepared and practice so that you're not stuck and stumbling, because people are going to ask you all night what you do. So make sure you have a very clear answer for that is intriguing and gets them to want to ask you more and spend some more time talking about what it is that you can offer them. And honestly, the business cards and the pen, it sounds so silly. I cannot tell you the number of times I've showed up. And the worst part is that one of my companies is we do commercial printing. So I actually sell pens and business cards. And people say, oh, what do you do? Oh, I sell pens and business cards. I don't have one, but we sell them. So be prepared. Have that stuff with you because you're going to need it. And number 6 tip is to lead with value. So networking is really about making personal connections and building relationships that are mutually beneficial. So start by finding some value that you can give to the other person. So if you're at an online networking event, you could maybe share an article that they might find interesting. You could give them a referral. You could find something that has no immediate benefit to you, because that's going to build trust. And also when you're nervous, it's easier to ask questions and listen than it is to talk, because people love to talk about themselves. So the more you listen, the more you learn anyway. So ask a question and then just listen and look for the opportunities. And the number 7 tip is to have a next step. So you're there to make connections. You're not just there to chat, right? If you had to drag yourself out the door to get there in the first place, you really want to make the most of it. So when you leave a conversation, ask for permission to contact them or suggest a goal or a timeline for the next meeting or touch point. So for example, You could say, I'm so glad we ran into each other tonight. I really enjoyed speaking with you. Is it okay if I send you an email next week with the details of that service we were talking about? Or if that feels too direct for you, you could also offer to send them a link to an article that you had been talking about, or maybe the contact details for a person that you thought they should connect with, or an author they might like, just something that gives you a reason to stay in touch and follow up with them again. And that's how you're going to make the most of that contact. That's going to give them value right up front, right? With nothing in return for you. Definitely have a reason to contact them, have a next step. So those are the 7 tips. But once you've got those skills, then you have to find somewhere to use them, right? And it's been a little tricky the last couple of years because there hasn't been so much for in-person events. But there's 2 ways to do this. In-person events are back in a lot of places and coming back in others. And then there's the online opportunities as well. So I'm going to give you a little mix of both here. So once you've got the skills in place that we just talked about, and you've got your plan for your networking, now you have to actually find those opportunities. So here's some ideas for you on where you can do that. So number 1, in-person events. So industry associations, business groups, networking events, anywhere people meet are prime opportunities to network. If you can target a group that fits your client demographic, that's great, obviously, but don't discount the opportunity to connect with other groups as well. So groups of your peers, of your competitors, of other industries, even just social events are fantastic. You have to edit a little bit how you approach people. If you're at a barbecue or your community event, they are not there to network. So you really need to soften your approach on how you start having those conversations. Whereas if you're at an actual networking event, people are going to expect you to be more direct about asking what they do, letting them know what you do. So you need to edit how you approach people depending on what kind of event you're at. But any in-person event, I mean, that's how it's been done for years. And it's effective, especially if you're really good in person. There's some people that just their personality, when you meet them, you just love them. If you're that type of person, then get to as many in-person events as you can. Number 2, get online. So, you can join conversations on social media sites like LinkedIn or business related Twitter pages. You can join business organizations, attend their virtual events. Networking is the primary objective for many groups like Chamber of Commerce, industry groups, and professional associations. So it's a great place to start with your networking if you haven't been doing that. So there's lots of women group everywhere you go. There's going to be some kind of women's group. So it's a great place to start if you haven't yet. All right. So that's for online. And, even just going into Facebook groups and answering questions and talking to people, that's networking, right? That's what that is. So join some Facebook groups. If you're a local business, then join ones that are locally oriented. If you are in a particular industry, find people that are going to be in your demographic, that are your ideal customers, get into those groups and just start talking to people. Just start answering questions. Number 3, ideas on places that you can network. Volunteering. Volunteering with a business group is an especially good way to quickly make new connections. If you are in business to business rather than business to consumer, so if you provide services to businesses, check with your local chamber of commerce. I know a lot of them will actually have volunteer positions where they have you go out into the community to welcome new members to the Chamber of Commerce. So it gives you an opportunity to literally go out and have a reason to go and meet these people, introduce the Chamber of Commerce, but also introduce your business at the same time. So that's a fantastic opportunity. But any volunteering is a great way to, have really purpose-driven connections in your network. And again, if you're volunteering, it's going to get your face out there. You're going to meet all sorts of new people, and you just never know who you're going to meet and what that connection is going to bring you. So it's a wonderful way to, build goodwill in the community as well. And it's a great way to support something that you love. So I love volunteering for networking. And that's number 3. Number 4 is to create your own group. So if you live in a smaller community or you have a really specific niche, you can't find a group that you want to join, create your own group. You could start a nonprofit organization. You could start an informal group, with a page on LinkedIn or Facebook. You could set it up on Meetup and meet people that way. But, there's nothing stopping you from creating your own group if you can't find one that you want to join. Now, if you really want to pour some rocket fuel on your network building, you can actually power up your network by targeting people. These people. Every one of you knows probably 2 or 3 of these people. These are the people that have the really large active networks. If you can find ones that are relevant to your business, fabulous. But these people are the people that seem to know everybody in every room, right? They have a connection in every room. So it's their superpower. Building a really robust and a far reaching network is their superpower. Maybe it's not yours, but you can tap into it to grow yours as well. And you just never know who you might connect with and what opportunities that they may open up for you. So it's important to make networking a habit. So build it into your schedule so that you're consistently reaching out, you're connecting with new contacts and their networks rather than binge networking once or twice a year. I don't know what the exact stats are, but it was blew me away the first time I heard it that LinkedIn, January and February, they have, I want to say it's 300% more activity on the site. It might be even higher than that in January and February because everybody does the same thing. Beginning of the year, they go, okay, this is the year. I'm going to build my network. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to, meet some new contacts. They start in January, and then by February, it's kind of like going to the gym, right? And then by February, yeah, you know what? I just, I don't have time for that. It's not working. It's not whatever, right? So rather than binging once a year or twice a year and doing it all, doing too much maybe and burning yourself out, make a schedule, make it consistent. So join that group and then tell yourself, okay, I'm going to go once a month to this every single month for a year. I'm going to commit to, or I'm going to get into those Facebook groups once a week or twice a week for half an hour. Put it on your schedule, make it part of your consistent routine because that's consistently showing up at live events, at online networking, whatever it happens to be, is how you're really going to grow that network. And you're not going to burn yourself out and it's not going to feel like a big chore. It's not going to be overwhelming. And that's when you're really going to see the results.